Be good. Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
I know. No, it's
Yeah, so welcome everybody. And
Hi.
thank you for being here. And thank you for wanting to become a guardian angel. This is a wonderful program. We were so lucky that the Cove has been doing it for years, what, 25 years?
almost 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And, you know, they were very successful. So many wonderful relationships have come out of the Guardian Angel program, long-lasting relationships. And, you know, so we feel honored that we've taken it on, and we've learned a lot through the process of taking it on, and we are still learning. In fact, the slideshow we have for you, Tracy and I were just looking at, we're going, wait a second, we need to change this and change that. So there's going to be a few changes. But anyway, so I think I'm familiar with you all. So I don't think I need to introduce myself, but the next person on the screen is Gretchen. So maybe you could put the camera on Gretchen. She doesn't have good internet. So
Oh,
hi, Gretchen.
Hi, I'm Gretchen. I live in a kind of remote area, and Deidre asked me to visit with someone, and that's how I got involved.
Nice.
And you've been a member for a couple of years, and you've been a volunteer for quite a while too.
I haven't really done much until I got together with the person that you asked me to call, and we chatted. I haven't talked to her again, but I will be.
Right. And one of the reasons you don't get chosen is you live so far away, you don't have a lot of neighbors that live close to you.
Right, right. And it just, as I age, I figure I may need this now and then.
Yeah.
So I'm perfectly willing to help other people too, as much as I can. No heavy lifting.
Tracy, do you?
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Tracy, and yeah, same. I feel the same about the Guardian Angel program as Deirdre. It's been great to get a chance to get to know a lot of people in the community that I didn't know before, because they're a little bit more isolated, and each one just has such a beautiful, rich story and is such a gem, and they just speak so highly of their guardian angel volunteers. And so I'm really grateful that you all are willing to take the time to bond, you know, with folks who are, for one reason or another, a little bit more isolated in our community, and it makes a huge difference. So thanks so much for being here.
All right, Vicki.
Hi, I'm Vicki Mullen, and I am right now in Missouri caring for my 90-year-old dad, who is failing fairly quickly, but this is some good experience right now for me. And so my dad is the last of my family, and so I'm looking forward to creating a new family, and you know, whatever that looks like. So I'm, you know, yeah.
Thanks for being with us, Vicki. We're with you.
Yeah.
I kind of like what Gretchen said. I like what Gretchen said. It's kind of like paying it forward. Need this too one day.
Nice. And you have been a volunteer for a really long time. I don't know how many years, but
Just a couple of years.
yeah. And you've also taken some of our members under your wing, like Ramon.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Okay, Michaela.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry my camera's acting up today, but yeah, so I wanted to volunteer with Metao at Home because I'm a full-time healthcare worker, but I work on the administrative side. And I've always wanted to give back to the elderly community, and I enjoy working with elderly people a lot. I've done some other volunteer work around Washington with youth groups and senior groups, and when I moved here last year, I really wanted to just be a doer. You know, I didn't want to be on a board necessarily where you just talk about things. And I really wanted to just be task oriented and help people in the community. So I signed up as a COVID volunteer at first and took the orientation a few months ago. And so after vaccination, I decided I wanted to expand what I could help the family I'm assigned to with. And that's been really wonderful. I've helped with some gardening and just visiting, meeting her family members and trying to support her through the family change that's happening right there in TWISP. So it's nice to meet everybody. I hope I can get my camera working next time we meet so you can see me in person. I wanted to say that, let's see, Gretchen, I've recognized Gretchen at the grocery store. So Gretchen, next time I see you at the getting groceries, I'll wave to you. It's funny. It's nice to meet some faces behind and
Yes.
behind the folks I've been noticing in the community over the last year.
Yes, I lived in a smaller community before and knew almost everyone by face at least.
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right.
Thank you, Michaela. All right, Dawn.
Okay, I've been helping for a couple of years with Meadow at Home. It's I just feel kind of called to help others serve, you know, however I can, and so I'm glad to be able to do my small part. And people need that, you know, compassionate, listening heart sometimes, and just some very simple things that it's about all I can provide. So, you know, conversation and a little bit of help here and there. So I'm glad to be able to do that.
Excellent. Thank you, Dawn. Gail?
Yeah, I've been volunteering also for a couple, 3 years, maybe, I don't know.
Mhm.
And I think the Guardian Angels is just kind of another step into it, and it'll be a good fit as we kind of segue into retirement and giving us more available time to help in the community. So glad to be here.
Yeah, we're so glad you're here. Thank you. Thank you. And Sue, how are you doing? How's your hand?
Oh, it's coming along. Actually, it's my body that suffered more than my hand
Good.
did. So
Mm.
it's a work in progress.
Sue took
I
a
didn't-
bad fall this
Mm.
spring or
Oh,
winter.
I
I can't remember.
I didn't know
Mm.
that. So I'm so
Broke
sorry.
a finger in my hand.
Mm.
And I have been a guardian angel, so I didn't know if we were supposed to come or if this is just for new people. I just thought I'd check in and see if you needed me or not.
Well,
I
we
think that's
appreciate you.
you're here, Sue.
Yeah, you might be able to give us some information that we don't know. So it'd be great. Good. And it looks like Susan's here. We can't see you, but can you hear us?
Yes, indeed. Here I am. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm guessing everyone's just saying hi. Sorry, I tuned in late. That's part of why I'm not visible. Just saying why we're here or what our experience is.
Yeah, just introduce yourself and your interest in the Guardian Angel program.
Okay. Many years ago, 2 or 3 times I was a guardian angel and really enjoyed it. And then life has had its way with us. And my name is Susan Spear, by the way, and I live in Twisp. And it's been a while, and I've been trying to get back into volunteering, but we've had our own health issues and things going on for a few months. And so I finally, I think, hopefully, life is stabilized, and I'm delighted to get re-engaged. I felt like I needed a refresher since it's been so long, and kind of the recommendations. It's just always nice to review things, and I'm really excited. I'm finding that the person I'm guardian angeling for is very active and hard to catch. So I think that's a good sign. We've been texting and talking a lot, and I've met with her once, but hopefully I'll begin that in earnest maybe tomorrow if that works out. But I'm just glad to be here and look forward to kind of getting my focus honed in on what people are doing and what some of the tips about this might be. Maybe that's it.
Great. Thank you, Susan. We appreciate you wanting to be a guardian angel. That's really nice. In fact, I think everybody here, we've kind of identified somebody that you are interested in being a guardian angel for, except for Vicky. And all of you have been through our regular training. So all the stuff that I was going to talk about, you've already, I was just going to talk about that, you know, we're a 501c3 and we're connected to the Village to Village movement, which is a national movement. And we're members of the Village to Village network. There's over 400 villages all over the place. But I think I'm not going to go into that because you've all taken the regular training, and that's what I would talk about, you know, if you were brand new. So you've been around, so I don't need to go into all that. So I think, Tracy, maybe we can just do the slideshow.
Okay, let's see if I can find it. That's always the thing. And okay, whoopsie, I need to go backwards. Okay, we did the welcome, and I'm so grateful that you all are here. It's really wonderful to hear from you all. You know, the first thing we talk about is confidentiality, because this is such an important piece, and maybe, you know, it seems obvious, but it's important to really go over what is confidentiality, and because sometimes it's easy to say something and it doesn't seem like a breach of confidentiality when it could be. So because we really want to create trust in the relationship between our care receiver and ourselves. And so part of that is we don't talk about that we are doing this. It seems kind of funny, or who we're working with in the community, because a lot of people, it's really a struggle for them to accept any help whatsoever, or to be seen as vulnerable. It's I think there's kind of a shift happening in our culture, but in general, I think that's a really challenging thing and individual for each person. So we just veer onto that side of complete confidentiality and respecting the privacy of our care receiver. Because you will be privy to personal information, and we do live in a small community. And so it's just so important that we avoid any harm, any unintentional, unconscious harm that could be had from, just passing comments or things like that. And so we're a different level of a friend. And I want to say too that this relationship it really is one of equals. Sometimes there can be this conception of like a power differential. There is a power differential when you're in a helping role. I mean, that does exist there. And we are all equals, we are all equals, and we're meeting people in that heart space where we have compassion for one another. It's like if one of our hands gets hurt, the other hand doesn't think like, oh, I'm going to be a saving hand and I'm going to come over here and hold the hurt thumb or whatnot. It's just, there's just a natural movement that the hand that's not hurting can hold the hurting hand. And it's, and that's what if that makes sense, that it's just a natural, compassionate relationship between equals. And there's this video about the anatomy of trust by Renee Brown. It's it's kind of long. It's maybe a half hour long, but it's a really great talk. You can YouTube it and listen to it. But she lays out, you know, this whole braving, BRAVING, all the things that you really want to have in place in order to make safety and vulnerability and to create trust. And so the first one is so important. This has been a really difficult one for me to understand in my own life, you know, because I always have perceived myself as some sort of a helper. But boundaries are very important. And I think it really stems from a sense of like knowing ourselves and knowing that although we're here to bear witness to pain or things like that, we're not here to fix. And so we can be the most compassionate and avoid resentment or things like that by not overstepping our own boundaries, but by just lending our presence. And as Dawn said so beautifully, our listening ear and our compassion. And boundaries really help us to do that in the most healthy and clean way. And we could talk for an hour about it, but listening to her talk might make it a little bit more clear. Reliability, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Just, you know, if we say something, if we say we're going to be somewhere at a certain time, we really strive to be there on time. If we say that, you know, I have 2 hours, we try to, you know, follow through with that as well. That's part of wraps back into boundaries. Accountability, you know, we're just all learning here, and we're just here to grow. We're not going to get everything right all the time. Every single person has their own individual culture, and sometimes we step on each other's toes. And that's how it is. We're in like a rock tumbler together and kind of polishing each other through finding these things out about one another. But accountability is the ability to take account when we've bumped into someone or someone has bumped into us, and to having the courage really to speak it in a really neutral kind of a way, using I statements. And if somebody, you know, if our care receiver, maybe, you know, we said something that stepped on their toes. And so again, just whether it's us who feel like there's been an encroachment or we accidentally encroach on somebody else's boundaries, we do our best to stay neutral and just, you know, wow, I hear what you're saying. I'm so sorry. And, you know, what are your needs, and get to that, and how to take account for each other and our actions. And please, yeah, I'm going to run through this, but let's just, is there anybody that has any questions along the way? Feel free, please, to interrupt me. Or if you have a little story, you know, a short story that illustrates these things, feel free to jump in. Because I think this as a backbone for relationships goes way beyond guardian angels. It's helpful in our everyday. We talked a little bit about the vault that relates with our confidentiality, unless there is an abusive situation, in which case then we have to report that. We have to come to Deirdre or myself, and because there are laws protecting people around that.
So we would go to you first.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you come to us first, and we'll talk about that farther down the line here. Integrity, you know, just always shooting to bring the best of ourselves to this relationship and taking the higher road. Non-judgment, I think this is just so key. You know, we might see things that we're like, what? This is not good. And it's really hard to suspend our judgment at times, but just know, like, those are thoughts, and let's lead with compassion and ask questions. Ask questions and try to understand one another. And it's easy to jump in and make judgments, but to really know that we're here as a compassionate witness can help to guide and help us to stay more curious. And then generosity, just really trying to say we all have our good days and our bad days, and to just be generous with each other. So, you know what? I'm going to come off of the share for a second. Oopsie. If I can figure out where it is. I know there's a little, come on. Oh, there it is. And let's pause the share. Okay. Oh, stop share right here. Sorry. All right. Let's come back here for 1 sec and just any questions or thoughts or comments on any of those pieces.
This is Michaela. So one of the things that's really helped me is that I hadn't really thought about before, because of course, I don't know, until I took the training the first time, was to not ask questions that they can't answer. So for instance, your daughter lives here, does she help you? Or why doesn't your daughter live, who lives here help you? Those are already difficult situations, or they might be. And so me bringing it up, even if I wonder, does not help. And so I remember that when I'm around this family that I volunteer for. And it's really, I just don't want to make it difficult. And I might have done that had I not taken the training, so I really am thankful for this training. I think all of the points that have been made so far just really help to reinforce what we can do to help others and be neutral and not quiz them. So thanks.
Yeah, that's a great distinction between curiosity and quizzing, kind of an open curiosity, and being, that's a great comment.
It's really not important to the relationship. The relationship should be between us and not involve the rest of the family, if possible at all.
Right. Yeah, that's a great
Good thing to remember. Thank you.
Something that I'm experiencing right now is being in the moment, and more so than anything, just a friendly smile, talking about the weather, making it very simple and gentle. It's sort of my approach.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if someone is in pain. I mean, it's just that's all we can do, really, is just be real, try to find some space in that present moment with.
Yeah, because they're not looking, many of them aren't looking into the future, and it's hard to not staying in the past. You have a lot of time on your hands at this stage, and so to just enjoy that butterfly that's at the window, or that nasty bug. I mean, it's just that simple,
Yeah.
Some people really like to share their stories. And so that's always a nice place to start with, what was your life like? And
yes,
they like to share that. And of course, they can go on and on. Then it's okay.
That's okay. Yes, that's another good one. Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Any other thoughts or comments? Okay, great. Let's see if I can get back to the share. And I'll go backwards here. And this is Deirdre talking about this. Deirdre, are you still there?
Yep, sorry, I was muted. Just talking away. So most of you are familiar with our reporting that after you do a service, then you let me know what your mileage and your time with the person. And we love stories, whatever kind of story you have. If you have any concerns about the person, let me know. With the guardian angels, what they've done in the past is they've had a sheet. It's just a they send me their hours on a sheet, and they were taking pictures of it and sending it, and it just was really hard for me to keep track of. So now I've asked people to just send me. You can either do it after each time you visit or do it monthly. Monthly seems to work the best for people. Just sending me an email saying, I spent 6 hours total with the person, a total of 10 miles. And these are the things that we did together, whether it was a social visit or telephone calls or, drives to OMAC or whatever, a walk in the park. Just a brief description of what you did. And then I'll just put in a service request for the whole month, put your 6 hours and that might be a little bit easier than each time, but some people might like, well, it's easier for me to just do it right after I visit the person. But most people seem to be leaning towards just giving me a total hours at the end of the month. So it's a little bit different than our regular volunteer hours, which you do give me after each visit. That's great. Yeah, and again, if you see any, abuse or any changes in the person that you notice, that would be really helpful if you let us know. Bye. Saying bye to my husband, sorry. Yeah, and each adult has their own right to decide what they want for themselves. So, when you come on as a guardian angel, what Tracy was talking about, setting those boundaries, it's really important to let the person know what you are willing to give of yourself, because sometimes, people want you all the time. Probably not all the time, but a lot more time than you have time to give. So, just making that really clear in the beginning of what you're able to give to that person is really important. And then they will hopefully let you know their needs. And we do have, a time period when, if it's not a good fit, you can let us know, so there's sort of this trial in the beginning, or do we really want to date each other or not? You can let us know, and we can discuss that with you and with your person, and because sometimes it just isn't a good fit. So we understand that.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Will the person let you know if they're not comfortable with us?
Yeah, because I do call them and I talk to them and find out, and that has happened. Somebody said, they just weren't willing to give me enough time. If it only an hour a week is all you can give, then maybe that's not a good match for you. But that's we hope that you at least an hour a week, right, Tracy? Is that what we're?
Yeah.
That people would at least do an hour a week. But if this person wants 6 hours or 10 hours or whatever, then okay, Susan says, just to double check, it won't overwhelm you if we send a quick summary after each visit. Yeah, that's fine. You can certainly do that, Susan. You can send a quick summary after each visit, because it only takes me a second to enter that. Just the other way was really hard for me. Yeah. So yeah, just let us know, and then I check in with the guardian angel recipients to find out, you know, how they're feeling about the relationship as well.
Here's some things about, you know, filing a report though, too, that I think are important to talk about. Like, if you know, we have legal responsibility if something looks like there's abuse happening. So, and some of this is common sense, but just using your keen powers of observation. If you notice that they're not just, if normally you get together and you eat and they're not eating, if they're telling you that they're not sleeping, different things like that, let us know. We're going to be the intermediary person to figure out what the next steps need to be. But so that's also, I want to just make real clear about, you know, when to file a report. Anything else on that score, Deirdre?
No,
Or-
does anybody have any questions about that?
I'm going to come back out. Sue, have you ever seen, in your experience with the program, any time that like
No.
somebody needed to file a more serious report?
No, I haven't, but there have been other angels that have pulled Eunice, and then let's see, adult and aging care is brought in, or, you know, they look into it.
Right. Yeah, so it can happen. So it's good just to have, you know, more eyes on folks in their situations. And at the end of the day, you know, we said this at the bottom, let's say someone is in an abusive relationship and they don't want to do anything different, then that's their choice. And then you have to decide for yourself if it doesn't feel safe, you know, for you. So, any other questions or thoughts on when to file a report?
I was a school bus driver for several years, and the only time I ever did something like that, there were these little girls that always got on the bus totally cheerful. And one morning, one came on the bus absolutely the opposite. And I reported it, but I never let that change my relationship with those girls, because I reported it to you, say, I reported it to the superintendent, and he dealt with the situation.
Right.
That wasn't my job to do that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's a great example.
Yeah, and a lot of these people, not a lot of these people, but there are some guardian angel recipients that are going through a lot of depression because they are in a lot of pain. So, you know, just like what we've talked about, just being a really good listener and not saying, oh, I've been through that same thing. I have this pain and I have that pain, you know, not really talking about what you have been through, because that doesn't really help them, you know, just being a really good listener and like a reflective listener. So saying what they just said, maybe in a different way back. So God, so I bet that really hurts, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just signed up to do a workshop called LEAP, and it's for folks with mental illness who are having a hard time reaching out for help. And so it stands for listen, empathize, agree, and partner.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah.
And who are you doing that through?
That is through Chelan County. I can send that out if anyone is interested. I'll send the link to this group to.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah. It came through the senior service sector call through DSHS, I think. Okay. Any other thoughts or questions so far? Okay, we'll keep moving. Here we go. Okay, we talked about this, so I'll just go super quickly here. You know, with the family, I love what Gretchen said. This relationship is about you and your recipient, you know, you and your person. And it's really not our job to judge the family dynamics or get involved in any way with the family. And so if you do need to contact the family, then give us a call, and again, let us kind of be that intermediary. Any thoughts or questions there? Okay. And even in the case of emergency, but you know, hopefully if somebody is unconscious, obviously you're gonna, well, here we are in emergencies, but I don't need to go into that. I'll let Deirdre talk about family and emergencies.
Yeah, so some of this just seems like such common sense, but we just feel like we need to go over it. If you come to somebody's house at a prearranged time and nobody answers, you know, you look through the windows, ring the doorbell, try to call them. You know, if you see somebody, a neighbor or whatever, you know, let them know. Now this is a little bit different. This is what we need to change. It says call the nearest relative or friend to inform them. You need to call us, either Tracy, and you should have Tracy's phone number and my phone number and the Met-How at Home phone number in your phone. So you would call us first, and then if it's an emergency situation, like, yeah, I mean, you see them laying, you know, passed out on the floor, then you call 911, you know, automatically, of course. But so yeah, we need to change this right here.
Maybe let's have everybody put us in, make sure that we're in your phones right now, and you can you have your phone with you. Let's.
So my phone number, my cell phone number is 509-429-2655. And the Met-How at Home number is 996-5844.
Is anyone not ready for my number, or are you guys ready? Okay. So my number, Tracy Sprower, is 509-341-4568. I always, you know, this is a silly little thing, but like in an emergency situation, if you guys are like me, I have a freeze that goes on. It's really inconvenient. If it's the fight, flight, or freeze, I oftentimes will freeze. So if you just make sure that you have our first names, have us under our first names, because like I wouldn't even be able to remember anybody's last name in a situation like that.
Good point.
Yeah.
Tracy, could you repeat your phone number, please?
Yeah. 509-341-4568.
Thank you.
143-341-4568. Yeah.
That was a 341 I lost there
Yeah.
because I made a mistake. For some reason, I have a different one.
Oh. Okay. That's my one. I think so. My brain is not working super well lately. I think that's the number, guys.
I wonder why.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I
wait.
think it continues on the emergencies, right? Can you go to the next one?
Is this Deirdre's? Oh, wait. No, I don't know what these are. Those ones.
Good question.
Oops, I don't know what those ones are.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Sorry. All right.
Okay, so you're with somebody and they have fallen. Of course, if they're unconscious, you just 911. That's it. And then you can call us. But if they're unconscious, you need to call 911. If they're conscious, you don't move them, you know, unless it's a hazardous situation, of course, fire or whatever. You know, if the person can get up by you kneeling next to them and they grab your knee and they're able to get up, you know, that's a really good sign. That means you probably don't need to call 911, but I would call us to let us know that something happened. And we have had this happen, actually. Somebody slipped on some ice and, you know, we were called. There was no need to call 911. But she was fine. She was fine. But, you know, if you know, describing what happened, where it hurts, if it seems like the person maybe broke their hand or something like that, then of course you'd want to call 911. Again, here it says notify the person's doctor, nearest relative. We're not doing that. You know, just you're calling 911 or you're calling us, or you're calling us and then calling 911, just depending on the situation. And at the end of this, hopefully we'll have some time. I have some scenarios that I'd like to have you all respond to and ask what you think you would do in a situation. Are there anything you want to add, Tracy?
You know, some of this is definitely common sense, right? So, but in the moment, like I said, I can freeze at times. So it's good just to, just keep it simple.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions regarding that?
To follow up with us, let us know, of course. And then the one thing is, if you do call 911, your care receiver has the right to refuse an ambulance ride if, you know, they're concerned about the finances of it or for whatever reason. It's their choice.
And here it says, if you're unable to reach Med-Howard Home staff, contact close friends, family members of the person emergency. Okay, so if you can't get a hold of me and you can't get a hold of Tracy and you can't get a hold of anybody at Med-Howard Home because it's a weekend and we're only staffed Monday through Friday of 9 to 3. Maybe they should have Jim's number in their phone too. I don't know.
Or also, you know, if your person is conscious, you could have them reach out to, they could be reaching to family.
That's true. Yeah.
What are the current people doing in this kind of a situation? Like the woman who is there, who is already a volunteer.
What? I'm not sure what you're saying.
I didn't get the question.
What are people doing now if an emergency happens? Are they, you know, doing, you know, people who are already an existing guardian angel, what are they doing now if they've had an emergency?
Oh, Sue, do you want to answer that?
Well, that's exactly what we would be doing. Yes, that was our.
Either calling Deirdre or Tracy or 911.
But prior to us taking over the Guardian Angel program, would you be calling their relatives and doctors?
We probably, well, depending on how bad it was, would probably try relatives. It wasn't real important. And then doctors. But if we were in doubt, we would call our person, which would be a equivalent to you and Tracy. That was Eunice back in the day, or Glenn, and ask them what we should do. But yeah, any one of those things.
Great. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'm gonna just keep on going here. I'm getting so good with how to share the screen. I'm really excited. I've learned so many things this year. Okay. Yes, Dare to talk a little bit about this, the boundaries. We talked a bit about it before, and I think it is really important. And like Deirdre said, just decide at the outset what you're interested in providing. Like somebody reached out to us who really loves target shooting and was hoping to find somebody who might be willing to do that with them. And then the person who's maybe going to be able to be a guardian angel was like, I'm not gonna, no, I'm not doing that. But, I'd love to do this. Oh, that's good to know. Gretchen said that she's interested in that.
Oh, awesome.
Great to know.
Of course, we have 2 guardian angels. That's not unusual.
If somebody wants help in their garden, but that's not your thing, it's okay. That's okay. You don't have to do things you don't feel like doing. Or if you only want to be working outside, but this person just wants to talk with you, yeah, let us know. It might not be a fit. That's okay. And just, again, this is an interesting one. Set limits and lay ground rules. Just certain things like, just so you know, I have an appointment following this at 1 or whatever, right? And then following through with it. Oopsie. So
I have a dog I have to get home to.
Right.
It works for me.
Right. Exactly. And when I talked with the guardian angel advisors, I asked them about some different experiences that they might have had, like with a boundary issue or whatnot. And one of them was somebody asked for money, and so that's like, no, that's not what you're there for. Right. So that would come under that boundary issue. And it's not your job or responsibility to find money for somebody. And that's just an example. And just, be true to yourself, what you're comfortable with. And you can, in a really neutral and kind way, just let folks know that you're not comfortable with something. I'm not sure if someone, okay, this is a very interesting one. Maybe we could talk about this. This happened with a volunteer the other day. Someone came to the door and reached out their hand, and the volunteer was asked if they had been immunized or not, vaccinated. And then that person really took offense. And so if somebody extends their hand and you don't know if they are vaccinated, it is okay to ask, in a kind and nice way. And maybe you might want to say, oh, I really want to shake your hand, and I am still trying to protect myself from COVID for a whole manner of reasons. I'm curious if you've been vaccinated, So you don't have to go with something if it's not comfortable for you. And maybe you could try to communicate in a way that's speaking from your I statements.
Tracy, I'm thinking that we will let people know if their guardian angel
Yes, yeah,
have
that
been vaccinated.
yeah,
I don't think you have to ask that question.
Yeah, that's a very good thing that I'm not sure if that's on our intake form right now. So let's remember that.
Yeah.
sure we put that on the intake form.
Right. And I will reach out to all of you that have potential guardian angels and find out, because I know Dawn and Gail, yours, he had not, but I don't know. You're muted.
No.
He has had it now, though.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's good information to know. And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I'll reach out to all of you who have a potential guardian angel just to be sure that they have been vaccinated so that you don't have to ask that question.
Yeah, that's great.
And there's a chat here from Michaela. She says, I'm on the MedHout Home site looking for the number of hours volunteers commit to. What is the number per month? And does that include both tasks and phone calls? That's a really good question. Thank you. We don't have that on our website because the regular volunteers don't have to, it can be a half an hour a year, or it can be, how much time you want to do. But the guardian angels is a little bit different. The expectation is at least an hour a week, and that includes phone calls.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that, but that's sort of the expectation, is that you at least give that person an hour a week.
Okay. Yeah.
And, and sometimes that's not going to be the case. For instance, what, Dawn and Gail, what you all are doing, maybe it doesn't take that long because you have a different situation. But, that's just kind of what is normal. Is Sue, I'm just curious, was that an expectation in the past for guardian angels? Do you remember?
Yes, it was, but there again, it's very flexible because your guardian angel client may not be available that often.
Yeah.
They may not want an hour a week, but the idea is you have to touch base, you have to keep in contact, and that's the main thing. I don't know that, you can hold it to an hour a week, but just keep in touch with them, make sure, that everything's going okay.
Yeah. Like with Susan's person, I mean, she's having a hard time connecting with the person because the person has so many other things going on. So yeah, you just never know, but at least a phone call once a week, just to see if you can visit with them, would be nice. And like with Sue, with you, your person, it's because of health reasons, she can't see you and talk too much. So
Yeah. Great guidance. Thank you.
I was going to write a chat, but maybe I can just ask this since you referred to mine. I find that memory issues, short-term memory issues, mean that having something in writing is helpful. So I have broken the rule of not giving my phone number out because we are texting, because then she can dip in to the text to see when we last talked and what our agreement was. And I just want to offer that and see if you have other suggestions or what your response to that would be.
I think in that particular case, it's totally appropriate to share, your phone number.
Okay.
Sue, this is a former guardian angel, not rule, but guideline of not sharing your phone number. And
that was because some recipients would get very annoying. They'd call all hours of the day or night, several times a day, call you up in the middle of the night and want something or just want to talk. And it just was too annoying. So you need to establish where you're at with your client. Then if you're both okay with it, go ahead. I have to have phone contact. That's the only way myself and my client are able to get in touch right now. But you want to feel the waters before you go giving out your phone number.
right.
Well, and I have wondered about that, having had a parent who, as she was declining, was calling people in the middle of the night over and over and over again, being on the family end of that. So at whatever point that were to change, I guess we'd address it then. You know, in terms of someone having your phone number because it's necessary and appropriate. And then if the memory issues change and that person is overstepping boundaries that are really unbearable, I don't know what you would do then, but I guess we'd cross that bridge when we come to it. Or if.
We,
Yeah.
we actually had one guardian angel who changed his number because of that. He had given it out and he had to change his phone number. So.
Mhm. Well, I don't anticipate going there, but was one.
Yeah, but no, that's a great topic and question. Thank you.
Yeah, and Sue, I'm so glad you're on here, you know, with your experience with the guardian angels, because I mean, Tracy and I just don't know, you know, so this is great to have you. In fact, I think we should have one of you every time.
No, yeah,
But
absolutely.
we're learning a lot, so thank you.
Good, I'm glad.
Okay, I'm going back to share, and I think we're nearing the end, guys. So thank you for hanging in here on the darn screen, everybody. And then, yeah, Deirdre, you talked about this actually.
Yeah. So we don't, and it can be email. You can do it on our website, but it's just seems to be easiest if people just email me.
Yeah. Okay. And then thank you. Let's roll through those.
Okay, I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll do a couple here. Here's an interesting one. So this is a scenario. On the ride to an appointment, a member tells you that they're concerned about their personal safety. A nephew repeatedly comes to their home and requests money in an increasingly threatening way. What should you do?
Contact MAH, contact you.
Contact Deirdre.
And let you handle the, up the chain from that point and let them know that's what you'll do, I guess.
Yeah. Any other comments on that one?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would keep it that short. I would, but I have a little dog, so I don't worry. If somebody's threatening me,
No.
I'm not inclined to just call one of you guys. I'm inclined to go more serious.
Well, no, I think the question was if your care receiver is saying that they are being threatened,
Yes.
right? That's the
Oh,
scenario,
okay.
right?
If they're being threatened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're telling you that this nephew keeps coming over and asking them for
Okay.
money.
I'm sorry.
No, if you're being threatened, you can call 911.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
would, yeah. Okay, but then you should tell the person they need to get serious about it. I would
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
If they're threatening in any way, that's not acceptable.
Right. So you're saying to tell the nephew, you know, this bothers me.
Not saying to tell
not
the
gonna-
nephew. She's saying that she would recommend, she would say to her care receiver, that sounds really serious.
Yeah. Okay.
Can
You
we,
should do something about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're threatening you, yeah.
if we were to overhear something like that, or they said our care recipient indicated something like that to us, are we then also, is it a good idea to let them know that we'll let you know? Or is it better to keep it secret?
Yeah, that is a great question.
I think that you can keep it a secret. I mean, there's all this confidentiality, you know, between you, us, them. I mean, they might freak out, you know, that
Yeah.
you're gonna tell on them or something. But just to make us aware of the situation, and then we can discuss it as a board, or Tracy and I, or with other helpful people.
Mhm.
What do you guys think?
I'm wondering if, like, for example, when you go to a provider, a care provider, you sign a waiver saying that they have then the right to talk to other, care providers. And I don't think that we do have our care receivers kind of signing a waiver like that that says that your guardian angel they will hold everything in confidence, and they can also reach out to the staff of Met How at Home if there's a concern that arises.
Okay.
I was gonna say, that is abuse, really, if somebody's threatening them.
Yeah, that is abuse. So you have the
I would-
responsibility.
Yeah, to do something.
Yes, absolutely.
I guess I think my only slight concern, and it's not a current concern with the person I'm volunteering with, but I just want to make sure that I maintain the trust while protecting their safety and being considerate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know. I
wouldn't
think,
want to
yeah,
inflict
that's,
something. So it's always a judgment call, I guess.
Yeah.
I know. That's a really good question. Sue, do you want to weigh in on this?
Whether to tell the client or not. Well, the problem with telling the recipient client, you're going to tell someone else, they may say, no, don't do that. Don't do that. But maybe it really needs to be done. So maybe I would not tell them if I thought that was going to happen, just so that someone else knows what's going on besides yourself. And yeah. And then maybe down the line, you can mention to them that, oh, by the way, I did bring this up at our meeting or with my supervisors, and they're aware of it. So we'll keep tabs on it for you or something, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sue. I think I get that. I think what all of you have said, echoes what I was thinking. It's not, I don't want to upset them by saying I'm going to tattle on your family member, but hopefully that won't come up. So, but it's good to be prepared if it does. So thanks.
Well, and like Gretchen said, if there's possible abuse, then it's our responsibility, and you can come back to that there are times when you're protected by the law.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I think I understand nuances. Thank you.
Okay, so maybe I'll just do one more of these. After taking a member to their appointment, the member asks if you can join them for a cup of coffee at a nearby coffee shop. The appointment was supposed to last 2 hours, but only 1 hour has lapsed. What should you do?
I think if you have time to have coffee after that, that's kind of just a spur of the moment decision.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to have coffee.
I would enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
Hope that they would too, and especially if they offered. It says that they would like to spend more time with you and enjoy your company, and it makes them feel good. So maybe they even like to talk about their appointment, and if it was something concerning to them, or whether it's good or bad outcome of the appointment, maybe they'd like to share that.
Yeah, and if 2 hours is lapsed and you only told them that you were going to be with them for 2 hours, and it might take an hour, let's say, for the coffee. I mean, if you feel comfortable with that, then that's fine. But then, it could always be like, well, I've got to go take care of my dog.
Okay.
If you can't do it, I think you can bail out of it. Okay, I said that was going to be the last one, but I thought this was good too. So after you finish helping a member with a prearranged task in their home, the member asks if you can come tomorrow to mow their grass. What should you do?
Will they put a service request in for that?
There you go. That's a really good idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think you need to remind them that that isn't part of your job description, unless for some reason you love mowing lawns, and then heck, go for it. But no, it might go from mowing lawns to landscaping. So you got to be careful what you agree to do.
Yeah, exactly. Good.
And that's a great response too, Michaela. that's what we're set up for, you know, and that's the great thing with having guardian angels connected with Met How at Home is then these folks are connected with the larger capacity organization to help them with things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm kind of facing that with this family. There are certain tasks that need to be done that I'm just not physically capable of. So I've, suggested that they enter a request through Met How at Home. I can do a lot, but there are certain things I'm just not physically capable of. So, and there are other volunteers who can or who are capable. So they'd be better helpers for that task.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of members have trouble asking, like they just won't call me or text me or email me with their requests. So if you know that the person needs some extra help, please reach out to me, email me, and let me know, because then I'll put in a service, or I'll call them and say, oh, I'm wondering if you need this or that, or I could even mention that, oh, your guardian angel said that, you needed some extra, somebody to come mow your lawn or whatever. And then I can pull it out of them. But a lot of times they just won't ask. I just find that I have to call people, and ask them, is there anything we can do, or email them, isn't there anything we can do? Oh, well, by the way, I guess I could use a little help.
Okay. All right. I'll follow up with you then. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I have a question. So we are assuming that all of the guardian angel recipients from now on will be Met How at Home clients, or they
Yes.
will be? Okay.
Yes, they will all become, they have all become Met How at Home members. And that's a process. And especially if they're a guardian angel, it's a little more process. They have a couple of visits from people, and they have an intake form that's provided to us. Any other questions? Comments? Concerns?
Okay, it's 11:08. I guess we could stop the recording.
Oh, yeah.